cycling fans, just dropped down from the high cliffs near Penhalt farm, where we start our walk today, and we're now at Millook Haven, and about a 12 miler, 11 miler to Boscastle today, so fantastic day's walking ahead after the mighty beast of Hartland Quay to Bude yesterday. And looking here to see some geological contortions.
And here are those geological contortions.
And we've just climbed out of, or still climbing actually, out of Millook Haven, and some conservation work going on the beach, paid for, which is now privately owned apparently, we've just been told. But this is a geological mecca. Quite dark, brooding cliffs, as is the norm around here. But that massive buttress in front of us contains some of the most magnificent folding you'll ever like to see in a geologist's nirvana. So, concertina-like folding as described by Andy. Textbook stuff. Carboniferous rocks, crumpled up like nobody's business during the great mountain building that happened 250 million years ago when ancient continents collided. Oh, just approaching Dizzard Point, which is that headland over there, having walked through the glorious and soothing woodlands of Dizzard, and the classic hawthorn bushes that kind of tell you which way the prevailing wind blows here. And not such a high tariff day today after the rigours of the most severe of all the southwest coast path legs yesterday. Quercus dwarfus, dwarf oak woodland, above Long Cliff on a glorious walk, and this is rather splendid. We just had a pleasant interaction with somebody who's doing the Cornish part of the coast path for charity, doing 18-mile days in memory of her dad, who sadly died when she was 25, so we had a nice little story there. And this is a lovely spot, very, very calming. Well, fortuitously, we've stopped at this lonely bench up on the top of Chipman Cliff, Chipman Point. And on the bench, which Andy has sat on, beneath the acorn is a bit of information which is really quite exciting. From here, it's 500 miles to Poole. So we've walked 130 miles to get to here from Minehead. Well, just about to descend from Chipman Point, and going down into an incredible steep valley, very similar to the 10 that we did yesterday. So I don't think there's many of them today, but we're still doing this pretty challenging and daunting terrain, and it's absolutely marvellous. I mean, the path on the far side looks an absolute shocker. Straight up the shoulder there. A few zigzags, but a lot of steps. And they are knackering. Quite steep, this one, so I'm going to be putting the little camera away and focusing on not falling ass over elbow. I've done that sucker. That was a steep one. Very direct to the ascent. You can see on the hill behind me that quite zigzaggy on the way down, which really helped. But this one coming up, no such luck. It was pretty full on, straight up. Absolutely fantastic. We're on our way to a place we'll probably stop nearby for a lunch break, if not a bit beyond. Crackington Haven. I'm dying to see what the crack in Crackington is. Well, in a, I hope, good fortune way, immediately below us is Barton Strand and Barton Mouth. Well, we don't know about Barton Mouth. So Joey, who's done such a great job turning the Rovers round in the last couple of years, and with one game to go, we're right in the mix. We're definitely in the playoffs for promotion into the old Division 3. So as I come round, there is the small, I suppose, former fishing village of Crackington Haven. Probably all second homeowners now. But we should be down there shortly, and onwards to Boscastle afterwards. Glorious. Well, Andy's doing the zigzags up this dome-shaped hill in front of us. We've left Crackington Haven behind and just stopped down for lunch. Met a nice, probably Nigerian woman who's walking solo and enthusiastically blasted up the zigzags. And there is an alternate route, which is a bit of a wimp out. You end up at the Col there. And then I think cliff-top walking for quite some way, and we get to the highest point on the Cornish coast, High Cliff. Imaginative name there. Come up to this high point, it's unnamed. Cam Peak I'm going to call it, because the beaches around here are called Cam Sound. Bit of a drop away down into the Col, then a multitude of pathways up and over this next area, and gradually working our way towards, you can see it, just see it in the gloomy distance with the cloud covering it. That's High Cliff. Well, charming coastal scene. Little sort of wet area, and chest high in the vegetation are two feral goats, Billy and Nanny. Billy on the left, Nanny on the right. Some impressive curved horns on these beasts, but rather nice to see. Minding their own business and adding to the charms of this lovely remote walk. A place called Strangles Cliffs, and quite a sandy subsoil here, absolutely riddled with rabbit holes. So wherever you look, there's a hole for the bunnies. Can't see a single one of them. Perhaps they're inside having lunch. And magnificent walking again. I mean, it's so impressive, this sort of statuesque coastline, proud and defiant, and mainly walking on the top of it, but every now and again, as is evident from previous reports, quite a lot of deep down into valleys and up the other side. And I hope the one that's coming up immediately in front of me isn't too incised. Don't really want to go down a heck of a long way before getting up to over 700 feet, but if it's got to be, it's got to be. Well, we're looking back north into the murk. We could see the radar station we passed yesterday, earlier on, and on a clear day we'd probably see all the way up towards Hartland Quay, but not today, bullseye. We're at High Cliff, so named because it's the highest cliff in Cornwall, at well over 700 feet. So imaginations run amok here. Well, we must be getting near the end. We're not yet at Beanie Cliff, which is a famous Thomas Hardy poem. It seems like a never-ending walk today. After, I guess it's a follow-up to yesterday, dark brooding cliffs down below. Andy's got his gas top on. We've had a hell of a climb up Rusey Cliff, and it does feel never-ending because we've got a Beanie Cliff to do, then we've got another bay to go around, and then we're at Boscastle, thank God. So this is a full-on SWCP, that's for sure. Andy's looking as fatigued as I feel, but not long to go.
Andy and me very pleased to get to Beanie Cliff, where I read the Thomas Hardy poem on Beanie Cliff. And here is the transcript for you to enjoy.
Penhalt Farm to Boscastle is definitely the walk that keeps on giving, and what it's giving is torture. So we've still got about a mile to go. We've got another of these knackering climbs to do, and it's all bloody steps, so that's a complete killer. But at least there's a nice waterfall to look at. So this bay is called Pentagon, and whoever Pentagon was, I hate him. There's 180 steps up that sucker. So 18 lots of 10. Halfway up, 90 steps done. Yeah, I am counting them. So that's what 90 steps looks like backwards, down to the bridge. So if we've been informed correctly, I've got 90 more to go. Well, I'm on the Hillsborough steps coming out of Pentagon, outskirts, northern edge of Boscastle. And we were reliably informed there's 180 steps. Well, I've climbed 180 and I've counted every fucking one of them. And there's still, as you can see behind me, a few more to go. Andy's piling up here as well. So we hope this is the last sotting physical challenge of the day. Oh my God. Done it, lads. 196 bloody steps. I counted every sodding one. But bizarrely, got a bit of a second wind coming up there. Some kind of euphoria. Andy says he didn't smell my second wind. Excellent. So very nearly at the end of day 3, and comments to be made at this stage are, that was a harder day than yesterday. So yesterday was the severe, marked on all the two guidebooks as, this is it lads, this is the severest day, the biggest physical challenge on the whole damn thing. Today's harder. Well, after what feels like an interminable time, we're at long last at Boscastle Harbour, and it sneaks up on you all of a sudden. So, dramatic inlet, pretty impressive quay. And then this narrow, very narrow valley, the one that was devastated in 2004, with the famous footage of cars being carried down by the floodwaters. There's a summer storm as well, and not quite sure where our car park is. It's up around that corner, I think. So a little bit of walking to do before we get back to the haven of the car. It's been a bloody hard day today, but thoroughly enjoyable. So, that's it for today, walking fans.
Except to say, of course, song of the day had to be How Many More Times by Led Zeppelin. The reason? Andy and me said that on several occasions as we were faced with descending into and climbing out of yet another of the deep valleys along our clifftop walk. Fantastic day, nevertheless, and a hard one.